Turn the mic back on. Okay. Alrighty. Wait for a few things to show up. The small grocery order. Got a little bit on the card. Have to pick up a couple of things here and there. I've also been actually fixing proper meals for a change too, instead of relying on the fucking frozen stuff all the time. All right, so we got Homer. Is anybody online that I can annoy in the game? Not really. Okay. So let's look at the quests. Yep, all that's left is just knock people from a distance. Milestones. Damage point. This comes with the territory. Outlast players. That's just don't get killed. Untrack that. Okay. I don't want tracking quest. That's annoying. I think the bus driver getting there. The daily. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Rare chest or Mr. Burns mystery box. Okay. Shield. Animated shorts, nothing more to another 4 days. I'm just knocking out some more here, though. And Professor Pink. Well, I only got one more weekly quest I can do, so it's like you're gonna get the. We gotta get the back bling, and that'll be it. So. All right, so let's look at the shop here. So Lisa is now in the shop now. I'll buy a laptop, and then her saxophone is the back bling, and that's her music and essentials, her math and physics and something other, and Malibu Stacy. And then, of course, we got Plopper, Spider Pig, Spider Pig, Spider Pig. Yep, back into the hedge. It could be useful. All right. Krusty's still going at it. Bart. Let's see what else we got on that. That's back. Okay. Let's get back here. Laura Croft. Again, we're kind of in an awkward position right now financially. So I got paid, but a lot of them went right back out. We're still waiting to hear back for our legal status here. So it's like, I mean, I've checked online with stuff, but it's still kind of up the air. We have yet to hear back from the lawyer that we got assigned. All right. So, yeah, we're going to try and scrape together a couple $100 to pay last month's rent. Well, you know, and I've forwarded stuff to our lawyer. I was like, this looks a little hinky. Want to ask a few questions about this? And I got All right, well, let's go and get everything back up here. Let's get in the laundry. Hold on. Yeah, Homer doesn't need a back bling. I mean, And actually, we're going to be losing that because doing that, I got docked on my monetization. So let's put that in there. Yeah, that works. Okay. All right. So let's just go ahead and get in there and do a little grinding. Just was something my Steph was supposed to fill out and supposed to mail in the next paperwork. I need to find that, but I can't. It was over here. I don't know right now. Do some digging or call down the house. Can you mail out another one? Seem to have lost it. All right. Now, when I repinned the previous the indie video, put that repin that one up there, the She's Lady one, because it seems to get a better response. And my it is a hotter video too, because showing us some dance moves instead of just her yakking, doing stuff. Yeah. And I didn't want to do 2 dancing videos in a row, one because I think I pulled all the best dancing stuff from the first one. So. Also, listen out there. And do you think you got double D's? I want you to look up Nikki Huntsman. Right after she got the boob job, those were double D's. I think they've gotten quite a bit bigger now since because she has put on some weight. Where's the coast? Or is that the one I got? All right, that's the one I got. You can also congratulate Nikki's surgeon on a very good job. They look perfectly natural. They did at the beginning too. They did do a good job, and I don't know what the hell, but the thing is, as she had, again, because anyone remembers her earlier stuff, she was very skinny. Very young looking, because she was all, all this stuff. She was in her 20, like 20. So, frankly, looking back at some of the stuff, a little creepy. But she also had she had like maybe, well, she was listed as a C cup, but right, pretty small. But as a result, because she did look so damn young, she was perpetually the naughty babysitter. Or the naughty stepdaughter type thing, collect a beverage. All right. Is there? Yes. Which message is that? Yeah, and oh, damn it. What I did was I sent you what I sent to the. Well, she just said, "Oof." I think she got a bit of a laugh out of it. Oh, God damn. Whatever. Okay. Now, I was about to ask you that. Yeah. There. There we go. All right. Time to find a car. Ooh, hello. Shit. Or we just run. Okay. Okay. And time to move again with that. Hey, Daniel. All right. And it's donut storm time. I think that I. Donuts. Ooh, it's a truck. It's a shit. Okay. If I can do this without getting killed this time. Okay, 1v1v1. This could be close. exposed up there. There we go. This is going to be a bit of a gut check. Damn it. Damn it. Fucking chainsaw. Let's get it back on there. See if we moved up a notch. There, Megan. Oh, liked and sub. I appreciate that. Let me go and get this chat window up. There we go. More the merrier. Trying, you know. I'm hoping once the living situation gets stabilized a little bit more, we're going to start getting the channel to grow a bit more and figure out a little more what I want to do with this thing. Okay. Let's confirm here. So no more weeklies for another 4 days. Therefore, Professor Frank is going to be kind of stuck here at this rate. Because I have to do the weekly quest to get him. Springfield storage on the end. Let's see. I'm guessing this is just the, you see a little graffiti opportunity for Alberto, was here, but do it and that takes care of that. That's only 1,000. Got to damage folks in a donut storm and then collect down Ender's objects inside a donut storm. Also, real close to leveling up again. So let's get back in here, grind a little more. Hopefully, news is starting to break a little bit on the Star Trek front. Okay, 2 on X. 2 on Twitch. All right. Well, no, 5. Where's the 5th one? 1 on YouTube. Okay. So we got, at least somebody's on all of them. But things are starting to break a little bit on the Star Trek front, so hopefully we'll get back to that pretty soon. And the part of the thing of the channel is to have something to talk about on a regular basis, so not just Star Trek. Because again, you get these periods where nothing's happening. Guess what? This channel would be, probably demonetized for lack of activity. And yes, that will happen, even if you got few 100,000 subscribers. You're not doing anything on it for about a year, indie, you get demonetized. When you go from doing a live stream every few days and posting videos, and then suddenly nothing for 3-6 months at a time, then you're gonna, why did nobody demonetize me? Because you didn't do anything on the fucking channel, dumped what? You're supposed to be smarter than that. All right. Considering that was the first match, all things considered, considering usually the first match is a bit glitchy. In that case, the glitch was you don't get to the bus. You're just going to wind up in the middle of the water. All right, first things first. 91, Super Slugfest, Fruit Shoot, Itchy and Scratchy. Yes, half month, as in 2 weeks, which is, what is it, kids? A fortnight. Yeah. Well, something that was kind of brought to my attention is one channel, Rob Words. Not bad guy, British guy. He used to be he's a presenter with the BBC, actually. He does a thing on language and words. And so an archaic term, for a week was a sevnight. Now, while sevnight has dropped out of favor, a fortnight is not. It's not in England. Just to fill the slot, really. Any of these guys kind of... It's almost more trouble than it's worth, but it looks fun. All right. Well, now all right. Clearly, do this the old-fashioned way here. One barrel at a time. Oh, now I find the damn thing. All right. Should not have any books on here. I'm gonna go elsewhere. I think I find all three of them here. Seriously. You're gonna make me do this. Sometimes. Ooh. We already did that quick. Anyways. Okay, apparently Lisa did not leave her books anywhere here. And I'm running out of time, so. No, just visit the main location. Never mind. Turn. Oh dear, found Mo. Let me get to a name location first. All right. Now collect Lisa's textbooks. And there we go. Yeah, slushy. Okay. Slushy. All right. Okay. Whoop. Takes care of that one. That not dangerous enough? No. All right, let's get back to Bobby because now we're leveled up there. Mm-hmm. Whoop. All right. All right. Thing is, if I just immediately equip it, it'll equip it where I don't necessarily want it. So I'm going to put it down here. There we go. Borrow a page from Rush Limbaugh. I like to point out that Megan is one of my all-time favorite girl names. Odds on favorite forever. Every minutes and kick out some kids at some point. Girls go. One is going to be named Megan. So, old English, It's a good old British name. All right. So actually, let's look at the passes again. Huh? Okay, still need to level up 2 to get these things. So gotta start humping. All right. That's good enough. Mm-hmm. There we are. Still waiting for the game to connect. Okay, so not sure how long I'm going to be streaming tonight. So let's see if I can get one more out of the bonus thing. Whoop. Nah, one of those. All right. Let's Okay. Ooh, shotgun. All right. All right, time to go. Actually, let's. What's over there? To be perfectly honest, Homer Simpson kind of reminds me of my dad. Okay. And also, in a way, I guess the relationship between Homer and Bart reminds me of me and him. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think with all the slurp paraphernalia here, so I guess it's. Wait a minute. There. There. That takes care of that. Now we can find a car. I think that might be whack. Okay, just ooh. Squid boy. Okay. At this point, I'm really gold farming, but it does not let me find a car anywhere. A minute and a half. And as many have complained. What? What? Ooh, hold on. Uh, ooh, I'll take that. All right, evil me. Ooh, there we go. All right. Okay, find a gas station somewhere. Oh, and now we got Mo.
Hey, maybe somebody's sneaking up to the
Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. What?
You slow up the video or something.
I'm in the middle of something here. I'm actually doing pretty good.
What?
I'm actually doing a pretty good round here.
Bob.
Just
I need your
get
help.
in there and get comfortable, okay? Well, I just got killed. So.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, with that opportune moment for my wife, at least. So let's get back to the lobby. And a suggestion of dig up a video to throw up here. Okay, let's double check here. Will you wait a goddamn minute? I gotta set things up here, Twit. Haven't leveled up yet. So cannot just walk up and leave the damn thing running while I'm looking at an empty chair. God damn it, you pay attention. All right, 3 people. Okay, so let me go ahead. Pull this down for a bit. I'm going to dig up a video. Get something a little lengthy, so give me a little time to do what needs to be done here. And I'm trying to avoid doing indie videos for this sort of thing because I think to have that have its own speed. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I have on here concerning indie. Okay, a couple of them are actually for court cases, so really can't use those because real names are discussed. Okay, how long is that one? That's 17 minutes. That should be enough there. A lot of people say, how can you be a Trekkie and being conservative? Well, here we go. I figured it was about time to do an updated version of this video since the last one was about 6 years ago, and it was a little more important. Other stuff has come up since then, like we've had a few elections since then, and other comments have come out about the issue of how can conservatives possibly be Star Trek fans? Don't they know the show has always been left as liberal thing? Okay. First, let's tackle one thing: the misunderstanding of conservatives, and what, because Brian Fuller made the go, well, they like it because the fascist issue is Starfleet. Brian, fuck you. You clearly don't have any conservative friends. That's not what draws us to Star Trek. Thing to keep in mind: Roddenberry set up Star Trek in the universe. It's a post-scarcity environment. The replicators and fusion power and matter, antimatter stuff, there is no more material needs. They've all been met. Anything you want with a push of the button. Power is pretty much unlimited and free. So people aren't having to fight over resources so much. You know? Money is meaningless. You do it for other reasons. Like, the Orville actually did a better explanation of it than Star Trek ever did. But they put it simply, your social standing type of thing, and we work to better yourself. You know, you're no longer beholden to try, get ahead and claw the money and beat the other guy. So then you actually work on yourself. But that's something that Roddenberry observed when you have all the needs met. and you're out of the thing. You get the money, so you work on bettering yourself. And I think right or wrong, if that should be applied across society, where we can get past this thing of having to do all this crap. And in that respect, and one thing that also Star Trek maintained is a strong sense of right and wrong. You don't have the cultural moral relativism in that some people say, oh, no, Star Trek was not just anything goes. That's where a lot of the conflicts come in when Kirk supposedly breaks the Prime Directive, because there's some things that are just demonstrably wrong. And that is where Star Trek came down one. And again, it was never the politics of the day. Yes, everyone on that set, from Roddenberry on down to the guy who swept up the stages acting like, was against the Vietnam War. But in the episode of Private Little War, the closest they ever had to directly commentating, they said brush wars of the 20th century. That's the closest thing you ever saw to an actual direct reference to Vietnam. And Kirk is actually arguing in favor of U.S. engagement, really. Talking about how they can't just pull out, but they also can't give the South Vietnamese nukes. Like if they arm their side with an overwhelming thing, we never tried to travel space if they did that. And arguing, it's like, no, we have to be to maintain a balance of power, to keep the other side from going roughshod. You got to keep everything at bay and keep it in balance. It's the dirtiest, trickiest game of them all, but it's the only one that preserves both sides. And remember that Roddenberry is coming from a part, he was a bomber pilot in the war. In the Navy. Gene Kuhn was an officer in the Marine Corps in World War II in Korea. Several of the cast members were veterans themselves. Jimmy Doohan was a hero on D-Day, when the Canadian forces went on. D. Kelly and Leonard Nimoy were both in the Army. I think they were stateside doing training films, but still they served. I think Walter Koenig, I think was in an ROTC thing for one. So all through that thing, there are veterans. So it was just the military discipline was just baked into it. Nobody had to. They didn't need any military advisors on that show for how a military worked. They knew it, and they ran that ship. They ran that ship really the way a ship would be run. And that's kind of something with the Shatner talking about going back, and it's like the discipline was there. Gene Kuhn and Gene Roddenberry. That's why I said Roddenberry would be spinning his grave if he saw the current stuff, because they have no clue how things work on a military vessel. But the appeal is not any kind of fascistic setting. But when you don't know what the hell fascism is, if that's your assessment, that is not fascism. They seem to think anything, regarding any kind of authority, it's fascist. Not a good legacy from the 60s. It's basically, this is what society can be if you leave people alone. That's the heart of center-right and conservative thought. Just leave people alone to let them do what they can do. And Star Trek presents a world where you have that. People are largely left alone. You're no longer forced into a job you hate because that's the only one that pays. No, you're able to do what you want, what you feel you can do. Like if it wasn't, stuck with doing stuff I have to do, I would be running my own radio station, just because that's what I want to do. I like radio. I like to spend the music, making commentary. That's why I'm doing this channel too. I like doing this. If I can get paid for it, I should also throw this up here too. Because again, I'm not doing this for my health. But that is really the big thing with. It shows you where there's still points where no, that is wrong. This should not be happening.
Like there's a new level of like, well, yeah, your planet rules, but no, this is just fundamentally wrong. You know, your people need to be free to do the, or and that is where you get things where no, you're not taking my ship out of orbit just because they can preserve little Garden of Eden, but nobody does anything because they're keeping a population control of nothing. Now that was the only the one case of close thing to a direct violation of the Prime Directive Kirk really did was the Apple. But I think they're if they're able to reach out and grab a starship out of orbit, that means you're no longer just a local thing. You're not just mentally. This planet and these systems are now a threat to other ships that wander by. I think there had been. I have to check that up. I think there may have been a reference to something going on. That's why they were there in the first place. Or like A Taste of Armageddon. People kind of forget the opening log entries where this thing they'd lost several ships in that sector due to whatever the hell's going on, if they're piracy or something or other, and they needed that base. So they had been some contact where they knew a lot about the planet, so there'd been some contact out there. So the Prime Directive really wasn't that much in force. But it's like when the war ends now. This is wrong. Okay, and that's where a lot it came down. And then that thing we can respect that things they get very egregiously wrong things. You don't get bogged down the legalities and the technicalities of stuff. You just this stops. And that's what I think you're going to see a lot of coming up in the next few years by Trump and his thing. You're going to see no, this is wrong. It stops now. Even say with the current thing. Again, this is going to well, but currently we got a thing where the Ukrainian-Russian situation has gotten very bad because some other brat idea to authorize use of those weapons that we've given to Ukraine. Yeah, go and farm into Russia, and it's like no, do not do that. Like someone that's invested in starting World War III before Trump gets sworn in, and so it's like Trump's no, not happening. Or that's off into the weeds, and that'll be irrelevant in 6 months anyway. But no, that's why why you have conservative Trekkies, because there is still, at least in classic Star Trek, there's still a sense of right and wrong and things that that do not happen without a fight. And it's a world where you are finally left alone to do what you want, for the most part. As long as you're not hurting somebody, and if you're working to really improve yourself and make the world better around you, go for it. That is the heart of real conservatism. Just let people do what they do. It's like rising tide, lifts all boats. It's like when it kind of dovetails into on the Ayn Rand's thing of determination or whatever they call it, where it's like look out for your own best interests and take care of yourself, and you'll find the world around you tends to get better as a result. You're not dragging anybody down. Your result is you tend to bring people up along with you. You're able to, fix things out, and you're able to go out and help others. What you do for yourself will benefit the world around you. Well, you don't have meddlesome policies and stuff where the people telling government coming and telling you how to live. I don't think so. That is not again, that is also where Roddenberry was like, no, that's not the Federation that I set up. This isn't the Star Trek universe I set up, or some heavy-handed faraway government on a distant planet is telling how you should live. No, that is not Star Trek, and it's never been Star Trek. That's why I said when Shannon to shoot back something. Yeah, Roddenberry was a leftist. He was not woke. he was not a far left libtard type thing. His big thing was the old style of let people alone. Let them find out what they're good at and let them do it. So hopefully that will answer the questions of why we're in the midst and more than you think. And why this whole thing is, how can you pick? You don't know anything about. I know plenty about it, all right? I've been steeped in it. I was 2.5 years old when the show premiered. It's been a part of my life. I don't have a first experience with Star Trek. And say, I know, I found it. No, it's always been there. It's been a part of my DNA from almost from the beginning. Like I said, even when the first thing I watched, that I recall watching was the animated series. But even then, I knew this wasn't the original. I knew there was a live action show before. Didn't have any. Well, I had caught pieces of reruns a few years before on local stations, but but again, it wasn't a Discovery thing. I knew it was Star Trek. We got my first Enterprise model in the store. There wasn't no, oh, what's that? Oh, it's the Enterprise. Get it? It was just ingrained, part of my, things, okay, that's Mom, that's Dad, that's Star Trek. It was there, So, any questions about, again, then you'll find, I just found a lot of these people, like, how can you possibly, well, you clearly don't have any conservative friends, do you? Let alone any conservative Star Trek friends, So that's kind of, So, again, any questions? Ask. Not necessarily me, but any, of somebody who is a conservative and a Star Trek fan, you'll find plenty of them. We'll happily talk about it, but not if you're going to be browbeating us and tell us to go fuck ourselves because we dared to vote for the evil orange man. Because, part of the whole thing of, again, the way Star Trek is, you have to be able to sit down and talk to the other side. It's a mantra now. Star Trek never, Star Trek wanted you to think. It didn't tell you how to think. Not until the new batch came along. Before that, it was like, they definitely had a point of view, but it presented both sides pretty fairly, and you had to make up your own mind. But again, there was no Star Trek analog to LBJ or Nixon. That was all for the stories were really more morality plays. It wasn't limited to just the Vietnam War. It was talking about war in general. Or economic inequalities. It wasn't, bogged down to capitalism. It was about to just what is a fair way to do things here, Where's somewhere where everybody wins? Star Trek, like Rob Burnett said a lot. Star Trek, you didn't have villains or enemies. You had antagonists, which is a different thing. This, they're not evil people necessarily. They have a different point of view here. They're going from a different direction. If we understand that direction, maybe we can come to some kind of understanding here. But they weren't bad guys to be wiped out. Okay. So, with that, like, share, subscribe, PayPal, Patreon, other links down below, and we will talk to you later. Okay.
Another thing that occurred to me while I was is you'd be surprised how many conservative pagans there are. Because the Wiccan read, in that you harm none, do what you will. That's pretty conservative. That's like, you don't tell other people how to live, and do what you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're making the world a better place, don't worry about it. That's the heart of conservatism right there. Let people alone. Do what they do best. Let's go ahead and bring the game back in. But the one thing when Brian Fuller, I got the conservatives drawn by this, the kind of fascist Starfleet thing. Bullshit. One, Starfleet's not fascist. So the fact that you would even make that analogy in the first place, this is why you had problems on Voyager, okay, and Enterprise. Because you think you know what Starfleet is because you're working on you don't know Starfleet, okay? It's military. It is a military, but the difference is a typical military, its mission is to kill people and break things. Now, Starfleet has that capability, but its main mission is to explore and expand the the community of the Federation. Contacting any in life, making friends. But it's still structured and functions like a military in that respect. But that's not fascism. Fascism really is more of a tactic than an ideology. It tends to attach itself to certain ideologies, but it's not an ideology in itself. It's really a form of totalitarianism, kind of by committee. Definitely not been in here before. Hold on. Hey! Bitch. All right. Red man's confused. He's also kind of cornered. Oh well. In part, we can kind of blame the current state of affairs on the Republicans because they didn't fight back for all those years. So just let the lies go out. And, well, nobody's going to believe this is outrageous. No, you don't challenge it. They believe it. And that's why people love Trump. He's fighting back. He's putting, like, finally, someone's telling these guys what's going on here. God, hand is not working right. All right. Mr. Burns' house. Okay. Need one more. There we go. Oop, there's another one. Okay, we're full up on those. And just inside the storm circle. Oh, there's one. Oh dear. Hmm. I think it's time to go. Okay. Okay. I'm hearing a rare chest. It's starting to glitch a bit. Yeah, I think it's getting a part of it, but probably call for the night after this round. Okay, something's going on here. Oh, scratchy. Whoop! That was painful. There we go. There we go. Okay. And better get out of here. Maybe that. Nice. Oh, yeah. 8 other people. 7 other people. Nah, better wait. Whoop. Okay. In this situation, best to be a little avoidant. Makes the other everyone left was right there in the same damn place. Okay, actually, yeah, we're gonna call it there. Set up, for next, for tomorrow night. All right. So yeah, that'll level up just by landing. So we're gonna go and just leave it right there. Let's see. And then should be level up twice in the next first round there if I don't get killed stupidly. So I think next we'll probably get the glider. Let's get that out of the way. Anyway, with that, yeah, nobody's in here that I need to annoy or team up. So. Call it there for tonight, and we will talk.